is ESPN on ABC.
From the JMA Dome in Syracuse, welcome to ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Arby's and the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week. And take a look inside the JMA Dome. It's a whole new world. This version of Syracuse, progressive and aggressive, well-earned buzz, back-to-back sellouts for the number 16 team in the country. First time that's happened since '87. And Orange out against Notre Dame. They took Clemson to the limit last week, a game that was right there. Now facing a talent-rich Notre Dame team that it's trying to find some consistency. Joe Tessitore and Greg McElroy with you. And let's start there. Notre Dame, they pushed Ohio State harder than anybody has. This is a team that has come up with solid road games, but Notre Dame has felt the sting of some inexplicable performances as well this year.
I think the best way to describe, they're just frustrating to watch at times. I mean, you see them there in consecutive weeks against North Carolina, and then you watch them against BYU, and it's like, all right, things are going in the right direction. Then you watch them lay an egg against Stanford. It's almost inexcusable. The good news for the Irish is they've played their best football outside of South Bend. You look at the record, 2-1. Of course, that one loss being against Ohio State. You referenced the test. Nobody played the Buckeyes better. Trying to find some consistency here against an excellent Syracuse team.
There's Coach Freeman, and meanwhile, this is what he's up against. Dino Babers' tenacious group. They're cohesive. They're gritty. And before last week's loss, it was their first 6-0 start since 1987. And this home crowd is ready to roar for the Orange. And here they come. Just 1-10 a couple of years ago, and now sitting here with 6 wins already. And of course, the Irish, they will have quarterback Drew Pine making the 6th start of his career. Katie George, what is the messaging from his head coach, Coach Freeman?
Well, Tess, the two find themselves in similar high-pressure situations. Marcus Freeman told Pine, look, the reality is on the outside, there are people who question if I can get the job done as head coach of this program, just like they question if you can get it done at quarterback. But know this, I believe in you. I know what you're going through. I have your back. I have the utmost confidence in you. So believe in yourself. When you do, you have an edge, and it's contagious. Freeman told Pine, start fast, complete a couple throws, play with that confidence. That was the message this afternoon.
On the other side, Syracuse will surely be riding their workhorse running back, Sean Tucker. Could he make more history in this game? We'll be back. Kickoff coming up next after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Welcome to the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
JMA Dome on an orange out. Joe Tessitore, Greg McElroy, Katie George with you to get this excellent day of college football started. Notre Dame's last game here at the Dome, 2003. Let's bring out Garrett Schrader, the quarterback for the Orange.
Man, has he improved. If you look at his understanding and awareness, I love this play right here. Peeks to his left right before the snap, sees the defender in blitz mode, knows he's going to have one-on-one with a defensive end with his best player on the route. Finds it, sees the mismatch, sees the open right behind him, throws it for a touchdown, and then the accuracy too. Look at this, is a long throw, scans the field, 25 yards in the air. Perfect strike. He has grown with leaps and bounds this season and has really turned into an excellent player.
And it's intercepted to open up the game. Brandon Joseph, pick 6, just like that. The former All-America at Northwestern, who transferred to Notre Dame. Instant impact today.
7's first unsportsmanlike.
What a way to start the game. Now, last week, Joseph was not 100%. He was dealing with a lower leg contusion. Marcus Freeman said you could tell he was lacking just a little bit of confidence, the ability to cut, the ability to truly do his job. Boy, he could cut and he could do his job right there. Irish sting early.
And it's just a brutal decision from Schrader. Look, you have 6 defenders in the box. This is a run play. And you look at Joseph, whose eyes are on the quarterback the whole way. You got to be able to hand this ball off and run the football. Instead, he throws it right into Joseph, who's watching and going to cut and break on the route immediately. You just can't, under any circumstances, throw that pass. I mean, you saw he broke on it before his receiver broke on it. So just a really bad decision from Schrader, and he saw it too. That's what I just can't comprehend. He hesitated, squatted, and threw it anyways. Throw it in the dirt, if nothing else. You just can't throw it right into the chest of a defender.
Now you think about right away the mental effect for Coach Baber's team. When you're coming off a week, when things were so close, when you were right there, when you had the game against undefeated Clemson in your hands, and you're looking to bounce back, and you've got the big brand name opponent on your turf, and that's how you start the game. Pena will be back to return, and picking off from the 20 after the penalty. Zach Yoakum to kick away from the Irish, so the potential for Pena to give Syracuse decent field position. And this from the 8. Pena, he's met at the 30 and then is wrestled down at the 32-yard line. Flag is down on the kickoff.
Might be getting a face mask here, so going to be excellent field position for the Orange.
Personal foul, face mask, number 11, kicking team, 15-yard penalty from the end of run. It'll be first down, Syracuse.
Jerome Henderson, defensive back who plays kickoff coverage.
You can see right here, obviously called it right there on Henderson. I don't know if he ever actually grasped the face mask, but with Pena, his head turning, it's all the official needed to see.
So 4 interceptions in the last 3 games, pick 6 thrown on the first play for Schrader. Back to business here. And Mr. Reliable, Sean Tucker, will take the ball to the 49-yard line. One of the big stories last week was the fact that Sean Tucker was only given 5 carries in that close loss at Clemson.
And a lot of people very frustrated, understanding how is their best player not involved? Well, what Syracuse does offensively and what Dino Babers and Robert and I do, every single play is essentially a read, and Clemson was essentially completely taking away Tucker in the read game, but they need to be more creative in getting him involved in the pass game if teams continue to do that.
Here he is on 2nd and 8 as Schrader helps seal that edge, and Tucker with a good chunk play for the Orange. Yeah, Dino Babers said 5 carries, that shouldn't happen. I agree with everybody, and it's been addressed.
And this is excellent right here. The entire defense for Notre Dame crashes down, and Joseph, Schrader gets a little payback there after the interception. Gets just enough of them for Tucker to get outside, and an excellent run there by Tucker, bouncing it to the outside on the cut.
Schrader can make a good wall on the edge. He's 6'4", 230 pounds. Tucker this time tackled for a loss. That was Isaiah Foskey in the backfield. He had an amazing game last week against UNLV as he had 3 sacks and 2 block punts.
This is just a bad read by Schrader. Foskey's on the end. He crashes right down with Tucker on the running back. This is a pull read. I mean, the quarterback's got to pull that. Shoot, he might score. I mean, he's got blockers out in front. If you see that defensive end crash on the running back, you got to pull it, and you're out the gate. Just a bad decision there by Schrader, resulted in a big negative play.
Against one of the best edge rushers in the sport. 2nd and 14. He pumped in a diving effort that time by Pena. Looked like there was an underneath receiver who tried to get to it in Tucker. but Pena made the diving effort for 7 yards.
Man, and Tucker got crushed, too. I don't know who he was trying to throw it to right there, I think. And that's a good job there by Pena, corralling it very, very close. I think he was trying to throw it to Tucker underneath. It goes through his hands, and sure enough, Pena's there to reel it in. Wild play right there, but an excellent effort.
Well, the play's officially under review. Quick action to open up things from here in central New York. Quick break and we'll be right back. 7-0 Irish. Beautiful fall day here in central New York. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. JMA Dome was the third sellout since 1998. Play stands. 3rd down and 7 for the Orange. Schrader gets it up quickly. Pena trying to turn the corner, catches a block, and has the first down for Syracuse. It was Cam Hart who couldn't come up with the tackle for the Irish.
This is a great job understanding that Notre Dame is a heavy man coverage team. So what do? Rubs. Well, that's what offensive players call them. Defensive players call them picks. Right there, you get Pena in motion. You got some guys out in front. You get a little bit of a rub there, and he jumps leverage, and an excellent job after the catch.
11 yards on that reception. Sean Tucker trying to find that crease behind West Ho, who comes into play fullback, tackled by J.D. Bertrand. Red zone has been an issue this year, Greg, for Notre Dame.
They have not done a great job, obviously. Now, kickers have hit some kicks too, right? But this is really where the games are won and lost nowadays. As you can see right now, Al Golden, defensive coordinator for the Irish, but you got to be excellent in the red zone, and they just haven't been quite as good as we anticipated coming into the season.
Schrader on 2nd and 7. Looks left to the end zone. Touchdown, Orange. Arande Gadsden. His 6th of the season. And that train horn in the dome is blasting away. And there is his father, Arande, who played wide receiver for the Dolphins with such success from 98 to 2003. So play number 1 was a pick 6 for the Irish. And how does Syracuse respond? 7 plays, 53 yards, and Garrett Schrader just settles in and does that. Touchdown to Gaston.
Right here, this is blitz coverage. There's nobody in the middle of the defense. So as a defender, you have to play inside leverage. Well, Morrison, not only does he not play inside leverage, he actually moves to the outside and invites the inside route. I mean, that is just terrible technique. There you're giving up a wide open slant, easy throw for the quarterback, easy route with tons of separation to their best player. Just a bust there in coverage with his alignment and the way he played that route.
Marcus Freeman's defense has allowed 18 trips to the red zone for opponents, who have now scored 15 touchdowns in those 18 red zone trips.
You know, guys, Arande Gadsden was just 7 years old when he started watching game tape of his dad. As he got older, he started recognizing how good his dad was with his hands off the line, how he found ways to get open, how great he was at going up to get the ball. All aspects, Arande says he's worked extremely hard at and has been on full display this season.
Came in 3rd in the ACC in touchdown catches and just added another.
He is awesome, man. I mean, great length, smooth route runner, and just great feel for the position.
So here we are 7-7 in the first 4:49 of the game, and this is Notre Dame's first offensive play. as they run it straight ahead with Estime. Pine, sixth start, took over as starting quarterback week 3 in the win over Cal after Tyler Buckner was injured in week 2 loss to Marshall.
He's an accurate passer on the underneath, but he does miss a lot of open guys downfield.
So with Estime again in that I formation, as it'll be third and less than a yard.
We talked to Tommy Reese, though, about Drew Pine. I love him. He's a great competitor, one of my favorite guys on the team. But he just runs a little bit hot and cold. He said, my challenge as the OC is I got to get him started. I got to make him feel comfortable with some easy completions early. Because if you get him started, he can play extremely well. But if he gets off to a bit of a tough start, it's been hard for him to snap out of it.
3rd and 1. And as they will shift inside, they feel like they have a distinct advantage in terms of offensive line against defensive line. You saw a lot of this last week with Mitchell Evans, the big tight end, who will go under center and just scoot straight ahead. He had 2 runs lining up under center last week, converted a 4th down and scored a short yardage touchdown, and they're able to move the pile again. But you look at that Syracuse front, and they are grossly undersized, Greg.
They are, especially Kevon Darton, who's one of my favorite players, number 45. Very undersized, listed at 5'11", 266. There's no way. But man, he's active and they move around a lot. It's hard to hit a moving target. That's what Syracuse does defensively.
Here's Pine to pass. Has time and has a man for 11 yards. That's Deion Colsey.
Nice throw there by Pine, and those are kind of the throws that Tommy Reese referenced. A nice curl route, fairly easy throw for the quarterback, and he puts it exactly where it needs to be, to the outside shoulder for a nice conversion.
So Kevon Darton, the nose tackle for Syracuse, tying his shoe before this next play as quick as he could. Logan Diggs now gets some work, and he will go straight ahead, past midfield, and still a push of the pile with the center, Zeke Harrell, who's been playing well in the middle of that offensive line. His first year as the full-time starting center. That goes for 6 yards with Logan Diggs.
Logan Diggs has kind of taken ownership of this backfield. 3 really good backs that are somewhat interchangeable, but he's been the most reliable the last couple weeks.
2nd and 4. Diggs again. And you can just see that surge from the massive offensive line of Notre Dame. You mentioned how good Diggs has been recently. Over the last 3 games, he has 280 yards.
As you can see, I mean, he's kind of worked his way into the bell cow back, and they're still going to get plenty of opportunities to get Estime in the game, especially in the second half of football games. He's just so physical. But inconsistency with ball security has kind of phased him out as the lead back. But Diggs, Tyree, and Estime are all very capable, and I think in a perfect world, they'd love to get him 10 touches each.
Pulls it on 1st down, and Pine is going to find a seam before he slides down at the 31-yard line before Derek McDonald could get to him.
This is a nice play by Pine. Tried to pull it, see if he can't squeeze one in there, but because of the presence there of Barron, he had to decide to pull it down and make up what he can.
2nd and 1. Diggs, another 1st down for the Irish as they continue to march on their first offensive possession of the game. They scored on the first offensive play of the game. That was a pick-6 touchdown returned by Brandon Joseph.
And this was the concern for Dino Babers, is he does have an undersized group and a group that played 90 offensive snaps last week. They had to defend 90 snaps against Clemson. So how would they hold up in the trenches against a big and physical Notre Dame rushing attack?
That was their 4th first down of this drive for Notre Dame. Chris Tyree now the running back as Mayer Evans shift sides. Tyree trying to bounce it. He is tackled for a loss. It was Steve Linton getting in. Linton is a wiry defensive end at 6'5", 219 pounds.
That would not be the way I would go about it if I'm Notre Dame. I want to go straight downhill. You play sideline to sideline and try to make it more of a lateral game. You're playing into the strength of Syracuse. They're very athletic, especially at the 2nd and 3rd level. So right there, you can see it on display.
Second and 13. And you can hear the JMA Dome getting louder, looking for a stop, looking to slow the Irish. Out of the backfield is Tyree as he lowers the shoulders and spins free for just a little more. Brought down by Garrett Williams, who missed last week's game. Had a deep thigh bruise against NC State. Traveled and dressed, but couldn't go full speed against Clemson.
Possible 4-down territory here for Notre Dame with how they're running it. I'd be surprised if they don't just hand it to Diggs going downhill right behind the left side of that offensive line and Joe Alt and Jarrett Patterson.
Third and 3. Instead, Pine's going to pass. And it is beyond the reach of his All-American tight end, Michael Mayer. So it is 4th down. And the field goal team will trot out with Blake Grupe, the transfer from Arkansas State.
And this right here, ball's just off the mark. But I think part of the reason why it sailed off the mark is Diggs was scanning back in protection and kind of ran into his quarterback as he was getting ready to release the football.
39-yard attempt for Grupe. And he misses it. It's wide to the right. So Tony White, Syracuse defensive coordinator, applauding his group. They hold, and we're still tied at 7.
College football on ABC is presented by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
That's Pumpkin Hollow Farm. I mean, who doesn't love a good hayride right now? So autumnal.
We went as soon as the pumpkin patch opened. We went that day, I think. Our family gets into Halloween. I know yours does too, Tess.
Sean Tucker tackled for a loss. And there's Gabriel Rubio. We are not a big Halloween fan. I'm going to celebrate my Halloween by going and see Vasily Lomachenko at Madison Square Garden tonight. Try to make Jermaine Ortiz's head look like a big pumpkin. Schrader hooks it up with Pena over the middle at the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd down from there.
Pena's been busy so far today on the receiving end, and obviously everything is going to run through Oronde Gadsden. As you see Robert Anai, the offensive coordinator, he is by far their best option and most reliable target, but they are just begging for someone else to step up, and maybe Pena is going to be that guy as they move into the final month of the season.
They're down in 6. Schrader facing a 4-man rush, goes downfield, but it's overthrown as he was looking for the 6'5" Gadsden.
Obviously,
had coverage downfield.
Obviously, Notre Dame has the scouting report, right? I mean, you got to make sure you don't allow one-on-ones. They did on the first drive and paid for it. That time right there, double covered with the underneath and the over-the-top defender. And the ball sails high. Well covered there by the Irish.
Max von Marburg, a true freshman from Australia, to punt away. Brandon Joseph, who had that dynamic pick 6 to open the game, back to receive for the Irish. Our first punt of the game. And it is a knuckler that takes a great bounce, but fielded by Joseph. If he doesn't field that on the bounce, that thing's going for a while. Let's go to the studio to Kevin and Booger.
Tess, early window of games here on the ESPN family of networks. TCU just tied things up in Morgantown over on ESPN. USF up by a touchdown on ESPN2 against Houston. Arkansas just got on the board in the SEC network against Auburn. And right now, Florida State 3 under against Georgia Tech at home. That word or that phrase 3 under, Greg doesn't know anything about that. Back to you.
What a shot fired by Kevin Nagandi.
If you're, I can get 3 under. I just need to be in the net division, not the gross division.
Estime will continue that downhill attack for Notre Dame as Michael Jones with the tackle.
That's the recipe for Notre Dame all game long. I would run that play 25 times if I'm Tommy Rees. Just right between the guards, downhill with a 230-pound running back. I would live to call duo over and over and over again.
Second and 4. They stick with it, and it looks too easy for Audric Estime and the Irish when they keep it north-south. It took the safety Jihad Carter to make the tackle.
You can see Tommy Rees. They're going to run this all day long. This right here. And if you look at Syracuse, their whole defense is going to move left or right or twist. That's really their best part of their defensive structure, is just all the movement. They're undersized. That's how you neutralize the undersized nature of their defense, but it's not going to work if they can get locked up, which is exactly what Notre Dame did on the last 2 plays.
12 yards there. Estime, as he lowers the shoulder and just takes Jatius Gear for a ride. Remember, this is an undersized defensive front. Gear's just 230 pounds. Estime, the running back, is the same exact weight.
Right there, I mean, just straight downhill. As you can see, Tony White looking on, and there's really nothing you can do against a power back like that.
And there was some movement up front.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 83, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Hey, a reminder, Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Sean Todd Molly will be on the call for number 4 Michigan, hosting Michigan State, 7:30 right here on ABC. Boy, I listen to your podcast every week, watch everything you do, Greg. You have great respect for Michigan. Number 1 on your power ranking, right?
I love Michigan. I think they are so good on both lines of scrimmage, and I think they're going to show that tonight. I don't think that game's going to be competitive.
But do watch, folks. Do watch.
No, absolutely.
2nd and 9. Estime, after the penalty, he will get it to the 41-yard line as McDonald had the tackle. 3 yards there.
One thing I would say, though, Michigan State has played well. 2-0, Mel Tucker is against Michigan. As you can see, always college football, anywhere you get your podcast or on ESPN's YouTube channel.
Well, you got that promo now.
Like, rate, subscribe, you name it. I got all the buzzwords.
3rd down and 6. Flag comes down, pre-snap. Clock was counting down.
Prior to the snap, ball start. Number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's Joe Alton starting left tackle. That's the 4th penalty on Notre Dame.
And there's only so much you can do. I mean, if you're in your stance as an offensive lineman and the quarterback's up there and changing the cadence and then changing the protection and identifying things, you're in that stance for a long, long time. Kind of sympathize there on the false start.
So it makes it now a 3rd and 11. Pine steps up in the pocket, and having to go down and get it is Thomas. And Thomas able to secure that at the 28-yard line for the Irish. Did he make this catch? Are the arms underneath?
If I'm Notre Dame, I'm running up there as fast as humanly possible to try to get a snap. They're not even going to allow it. It looked like it hit the ground initially.
So Matt Austin is our veteran rules expert. Matt, what are we looking for here?
Well, I sort of agree with Greg. I do think the ball hit the ground between the receiver's hands. Is it indisputable? I certainly think it's enough to overturn, but I'm not in the replay official seat. But I do think this ball got part of the ground before he secured possession.
That's what it looked like to me. Of course, everything has to be indisputable video evidence beyond all doubt to overturn. But looking at it, frankly, from where we're at on the booth, it looked like that ball kind of leaped up into his hands a little bit. And even as he kind of rolls over, does look a little bit like the ball kind of is moving around on the ground as well.
There's an incomplete pass. 11 at the 46-yard line.
So they say it's a reverse of a call and an incomplete pass. And it's 4th down for the Irish. So the punt team with John Sott, the transfer from Harvard, who's 11th in the nation at 45.3 yards per punt, trots out there. And he'll try to pin it. There's the reverse rotation. High punt. Fair catch at the 8-yard line by Pena. Well, tomorrow morning, it's 9:30 in the morning on ESPN Plus, folks. Broncos, Jaguars, live from Wembley Stadium. And then Monday Night Football, Bengals, Browns, 8 Eastern on ESPN. There is nothing like a major global event at Wembley. It's a spectacular venue. That's 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning on ESPN Plus. NFL action from London.
I want a full breakdown from the crew. I want a full breakdown of Russ's airplane workout. That's what I want.
Did that make headlines? Schrader, they try to fake the pitch. Crowd wanted a flag as he was looking for Cooper, and a flag is down on the near side. Coverage came from Morrison.
Defense, number 20. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
As you can see, it's been a tough start so far today. Poor Morrison gave up the touchdown earlier, and they're holding on to Cooper as he released vertical. It's a good call by the official.
That gives Syracuse a little breathing room. And after the punt, that pinned at the 8-yard line, and that's now 5 penalties on Notre Dame for 50 yards. Tucker patiently finding the block and turning the corner. Sean Tucker, who came in 6th place on Syracuse's all-time rushing list. Over 2,800 career yards.
This is what I love so much about Sean Tucker, just how patient he is. I mean, he just sets up blockers, and then boom, he goes. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he just makes every one of his offensive linemen better with the way he sets them up and the way he kind of wiggles through the hole. He's just so productive and just an outstanding football player.
They go with the end around. Jackson is going to be tackled for a loss back at the 20-yard line. It was a good play by Jack Kaiser. And that brings us to the end of the first quarter. Brandon Joseph got things going with the pick 6, and then Schrader responded to Gadsden to make it 7-7. College football on ABC, presented by Arby's, returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Just a beautiful day in central New York. If you squint hard enough, I think you can see Homestyle Pizzeria in Schenectady about 2 hours away.
There you go. Okay. The hometown.
There's Garrett Schrader on 3rd and 7 downfield. Strikeout, what an effort to go up and try to get it Yamari Hatcher, but it's incomplete. As Morrison again was targeted, the true freshman corner for the Irish. At his feet here.
What an acrobatic effort there by Hatcher. As you can see that right foot just out of bounds. Unbelievable try, though, as they continue to go after the freshman Benjamin Morris.
I mean, for Hatcher to go up, high point that, spin in midair, and just miss hitting the white. Second straight 3 and out for Syracuse. There's Brandon Joseph, very dangerous. You found that out right away today. Von Marburg's punt, fair catch at the 45. Katie.
Think about this, guys. Tommy Rees was 24 years old when he met Drew Pine in 2017. He almost views Pine like a little brother. They've grown so close over the years. So Rees feels comfortable holding Pine to a really high standard, whether he communicates that mildly like today or not, if you remember the Do Your Job video. Pine says he appreciates the expectations Rees has for him. Let's see if he can deliver.
You mentioned the video that went viral when there was the phone call from the box down to the field. But listen, they have a very close relationship, and they grow with it. And now Pine back out there with Logan Diggs, and they quickly get it to Styles, and Styles able to surge ahead just beyond midfield.
We talked early about Tommy Rees and trying to get his quarterback started, and I really like their plan so far. I mean, I know it's only been 27 yards, and he's only thrown 5 passes, but all 5 passes, for the most part, have been high percentage completions, with the exception of the 3rd and long that he missed just a little bit too low. They've gotten him started, and their quarterback is settling in, even though the stats don't necessarily reflect it just yet.
Diggs on 2nd and 5. Diggs was meant by Jones, who everybody in the program considers the heart and soul, but that final push by Notre Dame brings the ball to the 42-yard line. So it's a first down for the Irish.
Excellent effort there by Diggs and that offensive line, just pushing that pile and picking up the extra yards. Looked like it was going to be about 3rd and 2, and then they were well beyond the first down line. This would be a spot right here, though, maybe a heavy play action, throw it over their heads with a fresh set of downs.
After Diggs goes for 2 yards and is pushed for 5, here's first down from the 42.
Based on the defensive look, though, pretty soft defensive. I don't know if you want to try it there.
Instead, they take advantage of the numbers, and here goes Diggs again. And between the tackles, they are just gashing Syracuse. It was the free safety, Cinco Clark, the transfer from Rutgers, with the tackle.
And this is just a beautiful double team on the left-hand side between Jaron Patterson, who used to be the center, and Zeke Correll right there, just pushing that defender right off the line of scrimmage and getting Diggs into the open field. Same motion right there. It might be the same play.
Just went for 16 yards. Do they go back to it?
It is.
It is. Diggs. This time he was met and then spun his way for a few more. Jones with the tackle.
Right there, Tommy Rees. That's a pass to run check right there. They have a pass play called, but based on the defense's alignment, Drew Pine will make the adjustment and audible to a run play. He brings the tight end in, and then they hand it off. So giving a lot of freedom to their quarterback to get him in the right play against a defense that likes to go with some pretty confusing looks.
Motion Tyree as well as the tight ends into a tight formation. Tyree just tripped up, as it was Darton who made the tackle. The sawed-off nose tackle, who's listed as a generous 5'11".
You can see, I mean, he's so active and disruptive, and not the biggest guy in the world, but man, he can break free. It's like trying to block a 260-pound bar of soap. As you can see, at 266, generously lifted as the height and the weight. As you can see, look at the top defenses in America, what they average. Georgia, Bama, 6'4", 300 pounds, so well undersized and yet still playing at a very high level.
Third and 4, pressure off the edge. Pine gets it complete, and he does so to Michael Mayer.
Mayer had a little bit of the turf monster there, and yet still secured the catch. You can see just kind of stubs his toe. Was able to reel it in anyways. Next year, Mayer, you'll be able to take off like that, but here at the college level, the knee touches the ground, the ball is dead.
Estime, little stutter step, and he's inside the 10-yard line.
I really like the way Estime's running today. He's been decisive. It's just a battering ram, man. Just dropping that helmet and just going. It's going to be difficult for Syracuse. You got to hit him low. I mean, at 230 pounds, you got to hit him below the waist. It's the only chance you got to stop him.
Second down, Estime straight ahead. It'll be 3rd and less than 1 from there. Jared Williams with the tackle.
I don't know how you justify running any other offensive play than that play right here. And you have 2 downs to get it.
This is a bowling ball downhill time and again.
Marcus Freeman is not happy with the officials allowing Syracuse to substitute.
Not going to matter because Estime can't be stopped between the tackles right now. It's 1st and goal.
And Marcus is beside himself. He's saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. But Syracuse is running players on. As you can see, he's beside himself. Very, very frustrated. Lets the official know about it. Ultimately didn't affect the result, but
that get-back coach had no shot there.
Zero chance. Yeah, there's some coaches that can be restrained. That would not be one that that I would feel good about.
Beatty would have a better shot for proximity. That's play of the drive here. The up back is Estime. This time he's met. Syracuse's front does their job, and Cinco Clark came in with that run fit as well.
That was just darting right there, number 45. I mean, just knifing inside Josh Lugg, the right guard. Watch number 45 right here, and watch how low he gets and blowing it up. Just 266 pounds, man, and yet splits the double team and stops the run.
2nd and goal. Diggs. And he's in. Irish touchdown, Logan Diggs. One green jersey in a sea of orange, clapping.
It's pretty well defended, as you can see. Syracuse holding on for dear life. But Diggs just squirms a little bit to the right and finds pay dirt. As you see the ball across the plane, just nice effort there by Diggs.
The play calling against Dino Baber's crew there, Greg, more of what you expected.
It's a simple recipe for the Irish right now. They got to grind Syracuse out.
So Tommy Reese, his 3rd year as the play caller. It's an easy formula when it looks that way. A heavy dose of straight ahead running. Went for 11 plays and 55 yards. And it finishes with Logan Diggs with the touchdown. And with that, it's a touchdown lead for the Irish.
Kevin and Boog in studio. Time now for a mayhem moment brought to you by Allstate. Boog and Happy Valley. This is the big play Penn State needed.
Yeah, Ohio State gets aggressive, brings the blitz. Penn State breaks a tackle. And Sean Clifford, just like Greg McElroy, gets the benefit of a long run by the receiver.
Yeah. Go with the yak. Parker Washington, 58 yards, 10-7 tests, Greg.
There's a lot of fire coming from the studio towards you.
You don't have to draw a picture on the scorecard, Boog. You just have to write down your score. 58-yard touchdowns, 58 touchdowns.
Katie?
You know, Dino Baber said after you play Clemson, they're so physical, you have to find a way to heal. He said you have wounds and bruises that must be addressed. He said physically, he doesn't feel like his teams in the past have responded well because of the lack of depth. And Greg, I'm just curious, you faced a physical team a week ago. You're facing a team that's super physical and running it down your throat. How does that weigh on you?
It's the worst. I remember we used to play LSU and then follow it up with Mississippi State. And it was, by the time you got through that 2-week span, it was just agony. You lived in the cold tub.
A little high for Sean Tucker.
And it does take its toll, but that's obviously, when you look at Syracuse, they are excellent. But when they play against Clemson, we know they've played them probably better than anybody for the most part in the last handful of seasons, but they haven't always responded well. Of course, got the win against Western Michigan, and then last year had a tricky game on the road at Virginia Tech, found a way, but for the most part, after what's normally pretty good performances against Clemson, they have not responded great under the circumstances.
Tucker on 2nd and 10. A 3rd and 7. After Justin Adamilova makes the tackle of Sean Tucker.
Syracuse has to figure out a way to get that run game going. Of course, Schrader's taken great strides as a passer this year. He's become much more accurate, but the heart and soul of their offense is the run game involving both Sean Tucker and Garrett Schrader, but Schrader's been quiet with his legs today as well.
Up 20% on his completion percentage. They go underneath to Tucker, and that is gobbled up by J.D. Bertrand. And he leads the Irish in tackles.
And this is just wonderful recognition by Bertrand. As you see, defensive coordinator Al Colton's got to love it. Trying to set up the screen right here. But Bertrand, number 27, sniffs it out immediately and drops Tucker in the backfield. Just excellent discipline there by the Irish defense.
Brandon Joseph back again, 3rd punt for Max von Marburg and Cuse. And he skies this and drives it down to the 22. Joseph made the first man miss and a decent return as he works his way to the 36. High above the JMA Dome on just a spectacular autumn day in central New York.
We got to look at ourselves as coaches first and say, okay, why didn't we execute the way we were supposed to, the way we wanted to, right? And then we got to make sure we go and evaluate and find ways to make sure this doesn't happen. We're a good football team that doesn't always play that way.
We had a great visit with Marcus Freeman yesterday. Very self-aware, very honest with assessing what has happened this year, but what he believes this program is to its core, and holding each other accountable. This would be a good, solid road win against number 16, tough Syracuse team. They've played better on the road as Notre Dame. Pines a pass on 1st down.
Marcus Freeman, he's had some criticisms this year, but I'll tell you who also had an up and down start. Kirby Smart.
That worked out pretty well.
Elite defensive mind, tenacious recruiter, and yet, look, through the first 7 games, not so great. Of course, the next year they took a huge leap. The one thing that Marcus Freeman's proven, though, is the relationship with the players is phenomenal, and he is an excellent recruiter. The results will come. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
Estime, big back. There's to bounce it to the outside and stiff arms his way past Cinco Clark. I mean, Audric Estime just flattened Cinco Clark on the edge.
Man, I mean, look at the strength right here. Woo, I mean, just at full extension. Wow. I mean, that is powerful right there.
3rd down and 5. Irish 3 of 5 on 3rd down so far this afternoon. Drew Pine on 3rd and 5. Just a 3-man rush, 8-man coverage, and it's incomplete, well beyond Matt Salerno.
Just a little bit off the mark there from Drew Pine. Still have to wonder. I mean, every time Notre Dame drops back to throw it, you'd almost scratch your head. I know you got to have some semblance of balance, but there really has been no answer so far for Estime and Diggs from Syracuse's defense. They decide to throw it on 1st and 10, RPO, quarterback throws it away, and now you're off schedule.
John Sott, his 2nd punt today, is able to frame this one up, get decent hang time. And it's muffed for a moment. but Pena trying to fight to get it back. Notre Dame claiming they have it. Let's see what comes out of this pile.
I mean, it squeaked out to the side, and there were two Irish players right there ready to pounce on it, but I don't know if they were able to get it away from Pena, who was also fighting for it.
And they are saying Syracuse was able to recover it. This is what happened at the end here. Pena loses it, tries to jump on it, and then it goes out to the side. How in the world did Syracuse end up with that?
I mean, two Irish players right there, and Pena reels it in.
Just under 6 minutes before halftime, Syracuse with the ball, trailing by a touchdown against the Irish. Schrader keeps it, and it's a good decision.
Eric Schrader on the quarterback keeper.
Well, guys, Dino Babers spent some time with offensive coordinator Robert Anae and quarterbacks coach Jason Beck on the sidelines, a meeting of the minds, if you will. Greg, that's a good start. If you're Dino, what do you have to see on this drive?
They haven't really featured the quarterback run, and obviously they've gotten Tucker started running the football. Now you got to start getting into some quarterback run game as well.
Schrader just went for 9 yards. 2nd and 1. Backs up to his own 23-yard line before launching it out of bounds. Syracuse threw a pick 6 on their first play. Then a 7-play touchdown drive, but Greg, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out their last 3 possessions.
And that was Schrader on the 9-yard run just a moment ago. I mean, that was his first carry of the game. So it's going to be really important, I think, as they continue to sell out completely against Sean Tucker, who's having a nice game, averaging almost 5 yards a carry. You got to have something that's going to be able to complement that run game and keep Notre Dame just a little bit off balance.
Third and 1. Tucker, and he's going to have the first down. First down for Syracuse since 14:45 to go in this second quarter.
This Notre Dame defense has been very, very good at times this year, and so far today, obviously a pick 6 and forcing several 3 and outs. It's been a pretty good response from the Irish after that opening drive touchdown after the pick 6.
Free play for Schrader. Now they're going to say we're going to call things here as Foskey was well across the line.
Offside. Number 7 defense unabated. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
AT&T 5G Skycam here at the JMA Dome today.
It's an awesome scene. Here is the buzz for Syracuse football. It's about as high as it's been in a couple decades.
Back-to-back sellouts. 1st and 5. Opportunity for Tucker trying to reverse field. And he's able just to get it to the 46-yard line as Foskey was waiting on him for the tackle. Had a great visit with John Wildhack, the athletic director here at Syracuse yesterday. They got a $150 million capital campaign. Just bring this campus more and more to life. They've made great improvements in recent years to the dome, as you could see by our great aerials today. 2nd and 4, Schrader, pressure up the middle, able to extend the play before eventually getting into the grasp of Foskey. And for Isaiah Foskey, that's now 22 and a half career sacks. He's just 2 behind the all-time Notre Dame record set by Justin Tuck.
Just a relentless effort there by Foskey. He was kind of locked up, and see him, he's actually kind of hesitating as he's matched up with Mang, because he knows that Schrader's such a great runner, so he can't rush with crazy violence and aggressiveness because Schrader can get out the gate. So he's kind of staying at home, and Schrader eventually fell right into him.
3rd down and 11. 4-man rush against Schrader. Drives the ball, but low into the outside of Devon Cooper. So the punt team will head on out.
Schrader frustrated with Cooper there. There was zone coverage, and Schrader looked at him and told him after the throw, looked like it was way off target, but if Cooper settles down in that zone, it's going to be a pretty easy completion. Just not on the same page with his wide receiver.
Fourth straight punt for Syracuse. And it's a tumbler. Takes a bounce, and Joseph will return it. And gets himself to the 29-yard line. The Irish will have 3 minutes to work with before halftime with a touchdown lead.
College football presented by Arby's on ABC is brought to you by Burger King. Your Whopper, your way. You rule.
Two of the all-time greats, Dick McPherson and Coach P, Paul Pasqualoni. So much success here at Syracuse. By the way, Coach P's son, Tito, is going to be an excellent young coach in the business. He has started his career as a coach.
So many great coaches came from that tree, right? I mean, George DeLeon.
Oh, yes.
So many great coaches.
Morgan Diggs goes ahead for 2 yards. Irish have had it their way between the tackles running the ball. Pine looking for an option and finding one with Colsey. As Colsey is out past midfield.
Really nicely done here by Pine. Doesn't like the guy in the flat, gets to number 2, turns his shoulders. You see how he turns that left shoulder, puts that camera 1 is on that left shoulder for a right-handed quarterback. Put camera 1 on the target and deliver it, man. Really nicely done there by the quarterback.
21 yards from Drew Pine, the sophomore from New Canaan, Connecticut. Play action on first down. Look at the time he has. And it is intercepted. Jahad Carter. And he's got blockers in front as Carter takes it past midfield. And it's a golden opportunity for the Orange.
And this is just a force right here. Look at how much depth all these defenders are getting. And guess what? You're going to see his back right out here in the flat, wide open. The guy's dropping out underneath Mayer, and you have a back. Your check down. You got to take the check down right there. When you see all these guys just turning with their backs to you, running out underneath, as you can see Mayer jumping up and tipping it into Carter's hand. Just a bad decision there by Pine, trying to force it in there to his tight end when he should have opted for the check down.
And think of how high that ball was with 6'4" Michael Mayer and his athletic ability to go all the way up just to get a finger on it. And then it falls into the hands of Carter, who returns it to the 42-yard line. So now, minute 42 to work with, and you can see that look on the face of Drew Pine. And they're dealing with an injury on the Syracuse sideline, right at midfield. So the officials are taking a timeout, as at the end of that play, there was an injury. And fortunately for Syracuse, it's Garrett Williams, their outstanding cornerback, who missed last week's game, and he is a big-time NFL prospect. So as they take care of Garrett Williams, we have the opportunity to visit with Kevin Nagandi and Booger.
Thank you so much. Capital One halftime report just minutes away. Booger McFarland, Kevin Nagandi, as you just mentioned, Tess. We're going to keep an eye on some other games here. How about Penn State and the big play we're seeing in the offense in the second quarter?
Yeah, 2 turnovers by the offense early, then they bounced back. The defense is holding Ohio State down. That'll be big in the second half.
Humongous test for that Ohio State defense, coming in number 2 in the country overall. We'll have highlights. Also preview Georgia, Florida, and Kentucky, Tennessee. Back to you.
Greg, let's talk about Kentucky and Tennessee for a moment. Can Kentucky find a way to slow down that Vols offense?
It'll be tricky. The last time a team scored more than 24 points against Kentucky. It was Tennessee last year. Their defense has been awesome all year long. They just haven't been able to run the football with the same level of effectiveness. So would anticipate that becoming a bit of a shootout tonight in Lexington.
No, a bit of a shootout is not what Kentucky wants to do. Obviously, they want to shorten that game. But listen, if we've learned anything in SEC football, it is anything can happen week to week. And, you know, it's so funny because everybody went into that league this year saying, it's so top-heavy. It's Alabama and Georgia and everybody else. Not so fast. There is Tennessee among the very best teams in the country and already with a signature.
And hang on a second, don't forget about LSU.
They're playing great ball right now.
Something happened, I don't know what, but something happened in the last 2 weeks because that offense has come alive, and Jaden Daniels looks like the prospect he was always meant to become.
Ole Miss found that out last week. Jaden Daniels with a sensational performance as LSU is rolling, and Alabama will have a tough test with the Tigers. And that is not a good scene with Garrett Williams limping into the medical tent and being helped there. And you can see the look on his face filled with emotion. This is the injury and how it happened at the end of the play.
Yeah, and you see him blocking. And that left leg kind of gets rolled up underneath, and you see him grab his knee. Just terrible scene there.
And now Schrader being pressured, tries to spin free and has to throw it away. That was J.D. Bertrand who was pressuring Garrett Schrader.
A big opportunity here for Syracuse. You get sudden change. Notre Dame gets the ball in the second half, so very important for his offense to find a little life. As you see, Dino Babers just haven't had really any answers after the second drive.
Second and 10, pressure again. This time they pick it up. Schrader downfield, but threw to the outside of Sean Tucker and short. It'll be third down.
Twice now, Notre Dame opting to bring pressure on consecutive plays. Just no separation in the back end from Syracuse's wide receivers.
Al Golden, defensive coordinator, Notre Dame, came straight to the Irish after finishing up his duties as the linebacker coach for the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Of course, best known for being the head coach at Miami and Temple. Can his defense find a stop here after the interception? Third and 10. They're going to stay on the ground with Tucker, who just spins inside the 40, wrapped up by Jason Ademilola.
That play right there was an indicator to me that they were planning on going for it here on fourth down. At least make the field goal a little bit easier for Schmidt.
And timeout is used by Notre Dame.
You're right on the cusp here. I mean, Schmidt obviously an outstanding and decorated field goal kicker, but that is a long kick. Got a 57-yarder, I feel like, from right here.
Sunday NFL Countdown is going to get you going at 8:30 in the morning on ESPN tomorrow. Broncos Jaguars, remember, on ESPN Plus from London at 9:30 a.m. And Bengals Browns kickoff Monday Night Countdown gets started at 6 p.m. Eastern on Monday night. So a busy NFL weekend after what is a sensational Saturday of college football that starts right here in central New York on ABC, with the Irish up 7 on the 16th ranked Orange. 4th and 7.
And the guy that they got to find here, Oronde Gadsden, by far their best wide receiver, been a little bit quiet. Targeted him 4 times, but only 1 reception, and that was a touchdown. Let's see if they find him here on a critical 4th down.
Schrader on 4th and 7. With a man in his face, a wobbler goes incomplete, was looking for Cooper, and it was J.D. Bertrand who was right in Garrett Schrader's face defensively, so a turnover on downs.
Right there, it looked like Bertrand actually tipped the pass. I mean, Schrader's moving out to his right, loves that he escapes, and then the receiver escapes with him. Look, as soon as he breaks contain, you have Cooper who's coming with him as well, but it does look like, as you can see, Bertrand gets a hand on that football and causes it to flutter and drop incomplete. Just a great play there by Notre Dame.
So Drew Pine back out on the field with the Irish after throwing the interception on that last possession. They have 2 timeouts, a minute 18 to work with. Empty set as he splits Tyree out. Pine. Just going to try to run to that edge. And he scoots out. He tucked that ball early and got out. A minute 10 remains. Jason Simmons chased him down.
I like the idea here. If I'm Notre Dame, at some point, yes, running the football is the pathway to victory here for the Irish here today. But at some point, they need to kind of get their quarterback going. Got off to a nice start, but kind of forced one a second ago, and seen him now at just 5 of 10 with the interception. So you got to get your quarterback going. See if you can't get him into a bit of a rhythm heading into the second half.
Tyree on 2nd and 7. And this is right at midfield, which will move the chains and stop the clock momentarily. So it's a first down for the Irish.
If you just watch the right side of the offensive line, I mean, it's just plowing Notre Dame. That right side, along with Mayer, who's an excellent blocker in his own right, just pushing those Syracuse defensive linemen off the ball.
Marcus Freeman wants them to snap here. Remember, they have the 2 timeouts. Clock is counting down after they reset with the first down. Pine with time. Shallow cross is incomplete. Off of Mayer again.
So far, Syracuse has done a really nice job on Mayer. I mean, one-on-one right here is Mayer working against Simmons, and Simmons all over him.
The All-American Mayer only has 1 catch for 6 yards. Tipped a ball that was intercepted not long ago. 2nd and 10. Delayed pressure. Pine going to go downfield. He's got his All-American, and it's into the hands of Michael Mayer. And now, with a half minute to go before halftime, the Irish are in business. 37 yards to Mayer.
Just a thing of beauty here by Drew Pine. You have excellent pressure off the right-hand side by Linton, but look at how Pine steps up firm in the pocket, and still it's difficult to do this. When you step up and you're forced to be a little bit late to still get the ball downfield enough, oftentimes when you move, that ball's going to be underthrown. He gets it just downfield enough to get it over Barron's head and finds a nice matchup with Mayer. It's one of the few times Mayer's had one-on-one, and he wins downfield.
And with that, he is now all-time with receiving yards for a tight end in Notre Dame history, passing Tyler Eifert. Just a sensational talent is Michael Mayer.
I love him. I just love how he blocks. He's physical, man. He's cut from the old school cloth.
Pine on first down. Goes underneath to Mayer, who breaks free inside the 5. Tries to reach out, but he is marked down with 22 seconds remaining at the 3-yard line.
Be careful, Michael Mayer. I know you're strong, but do not reach out, because that ball could have very easily been fumbled into the end zone. You wipe points off the board. Great run after catch, but don't extend, big fella.
There's Tyree, the running back. Let's see if he gets to work. They have 1 timeout remaining. 1st and goal. Play action off of it to the end zone. Touchdown, Irish. Jaden Thomas. And that was a very well-managed minute plus by Tommy Rees, Drew Pine, and the Irish offense. 6 plays after they swap turnovers, and the Irish come right down the field and score before halftime. Groupie adds the extra point after the touchdown by Jaden Thomas, a young man who they think could be a very big part of their future.
Just beautiful design. You fake that, and then you just get one-on-one with your tight end there as the corner's kind of going to peek inside. It's a difficult matchup anyways. I mean, you get a long tight end that can be a little bit more physical, and you're able to get it in a one-on-one spot when you've been just gashed on the ground. It's natural that Syracuse would certainly be looking inside for the run game, as the head coach and the offensive coordinator, Marcus Freeman and Tommy Rees, respectively. Just an outstanding sequence.
And, you know, for Tommy Rees to have him around during a season like this, a guy who can relate to the players, he was one, can understand the highs and lows and how to navigate all the pressure of Notre Dame, the unique pressure of Notre Dame when you start a season the way they have. And here we go again with Notre Dame on the road. What is it about Notre Dame on the road?
It's not like they're playing bad teams on the road either. I mean, obviously you go to North Carolina, team in the top 25. BYU at one point, a team that was in the top 25. Of course, Syracuse firmly in the top 25. I don't know what it is, but
Pena on the return for Syracuse, as he's able to utilize his blocks and get out towards the 30-yard line. Reminder, aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, road-tested, game-ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Are you ready for the road to New York with me tonight, Greg McElroy? Because we're going to be heading down there to Madison Square Garden for Vasily Lomachenko, one of the pound-for-pound great fighters of the generation, making his return against Jermaine Ortiz. That is tonight from Madison Square Garden on ESPN+. And truly, folks, one of the great stories in sports as Vasily Lomachenko left the prime of his career last winter to go fight for his country and serve his country in Ukraine. Unbelievable. And tonight he makes his return. Sean Tucker goes nowhere. Guy was set to make millions of dollars and said, no, I'm passing. My country, my family needs me. Went to Ukraine. He's back tonight on ESPN+. The Capital One halftime report is still to come. 21-7, Notre Dame, as they score before the half. Drew Pine with the touchdown pass moments ago. Capital One halftime report after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
You're watching the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
21-7 Notre Dame, as we welcome you back to ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Arby's. Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week. 73 total yards of offense for Syracuse in the first half. That's it. Notre Dame ran for 120 yards, most of that between the tackles.
And basically that 73 yards is essentially one drive. Yeah. So they haven't been able to get much going offensively whatsoever, but ultimately Notre Dame, Syracuse's defense has to step up.
They do.
Especially here early in the second half. We're hearing, at least we will hear in just a minute from Katie, about the health of Garrett Schrader and the fact that he might not be available in the second half because of injury. So with the backup quarterback, they got to figure out a way to get off the field defensively.
Notre Dame will receive the ball to start the second half. This is Chris Tyree on the return. And it's a good one. Out past the 30-yard line.
Chris Tyree on the return.
Katie?
Well, Greg, to your point, Dino Babers just told me that we're going to see a change at quarterback. It's over injury with Garrett Schrader and not because of performance, but you will see a different quarterback in for Q's.
We expect Carlos Del Rio Wilson, who started his career with the Florida Gators and then transferred to Syracuse this past summer. But for now, it's up to the defense to find a stop. There is Carlos. We'll see if he does get the call with the injury to Schrader. Tough spot to come in against Notre Dame, trailing by 14 points. Here's Diggs, patiently waiting for blocks and just carrying Syracuse defenders ahead all the way to the 48-yard line. Just more of the same as he goes for 14 yards.
And you just think about where Syracuse is defensively and look at the left side. I mean, Mayer and all the left tackle and the tight end just mowing Syracuse defenders off the line of scrimmage. That's been much of the theme throughout the first 30 minutes and clearly going to be a theme here in the second half as well.
Marlo Wax, the linebacker, went for a ride on the back of Diggs. Be interesting to see that rush chart for Notre Dame, because between the tackles, they have been dominating, as you see more of it with Diggs past midfield. Well, let's look at the first half rush chart, Greg, and it is easy to understand what we're dealing with.
As you can see, I mean, it's straight downhill. Of course, did have nice gain to the left-hand side. The one play to the right was on the opening drive that essentially took points off the board. They ran it on 1st and 10 and got dropped for a loss, got off schedule. Really, the only thing that stopped Notre Dame so far has been themselves when they've opted to throw the football.
Second and 7. Diggs will make it 3rd and short. As he was cut down by Isaiah Johnson. He made his first college football start last week at Clemson.
You can see Tony White, the defensive coordinator, desperately trying to find an answer for this run game.
That defense nicknamed the Mob. And they come up with a tackle there short of the line to gain, as it was Oka Chukwu with the tackle. Diggs only went for about a half a yard there. So on 4th down, they're going to bring in the big package. Extra tight ends come in with Holden Stays and Mitchell Evans and Audric Estime, the running back, who has been a bulldozer of a back in this game.
Watch out for that quarterback sneak, too. When they motion Evans back inside, he's been very effective with that play so far. Here it comes.
They did it earlier, and they're going to do it again. They go back to it. Do they get the push they need? Yes, they do. So this has been happening now for the last 2 weeks. Mitchell Evans 4 times has been under center in the last 2 games with success.
Yeah, they're going to have to put tight end /SS, sneak specialist, next to Mitchell Evans here moving forward, because I don't know how you stop it if you're a defense. I mean, they held up pretty good initially, but as you can see, Mayer in behind him and Estime in behind him as well. I think you might even seen Pine get in on the action. It's very difficult to stop that quarterback sneak, especially when the guy's long and powerful.
Mitchell Evans, 6'5", 255 pounds. Estime, he is cut down, as it was Justin Barron who surged in to slow him down just enough.
Syracuse, you look at what they've done all year long. I've been pretty dang good against the run, but this is a really good stable of running backs and a powerful offensive line.
Pine on 2nd and 8 to pass it. Downfield and going up and after it, but incomplete, was Merriweather. He was defensed by Jason Simmons.
Another situation where it's well covered downfield. Pine opts to throw it. I think he had his back wide open underneath again, though. I mean, if they're going to drop out and defend the deep ball, drop it to your running back right there over the ball. There's plenty of room. And this could have been tipped up and potentially intercepted, but a nice defensive play there, too, by Syracuse and Simmons.
3rd and 8. But with the wide receiver screen incomplete as he threw it nearly into the ground in front of the feet of Lorenzo Styles.
I don't know if Pine didn't really get a good grip on that football. Looked like he kind of did a little bit of a double take as he tried to throw it around the defender coming off the edge, but I don't think he had a good grip of it. Watch as he kind of hangs for a second and tries to throw it around him, and the ball just dives low on him.
John Sott will look to get the pin punt here. Fair catch at the 5-yard line. Process continues for Tommy Reese and Drew Pine. Couldn't get the 3rd down there. Glad you're with us watching the ACC on ESPN. High above Syracuse, New York. Great view, sellout crowd, and orange out for this much anticipated showdown with Notre Dame. New quarterback again as Sean Tucker gets it. Carlos Del Rio Wilson in for Garrett Schrader. What happened to Garrett Schrader, Greg?
And as he was rolling out to his right, this was the sack earlier by Foskey. His right foot kind of gets caught underneath Foskey, and as you see him try to come back up, he steps on it and goes straight down. We don't know because he didn't favor it, isn't walking with a lip or anything, but it looked like that right foot or right ankle area, that's what's injured.
Del Rio Wilson nearly picked off on his first pass of the game. That was Cam Hart driving on the ball. So Carlos Del Rio Wilson, he's 6'2", 230 pounds. He's from Georgia. He started his career at Florida. He's athletic, has a good arm, hasn't seen playing time because of Schrader's success. Came to Syracuse this summer. He played at a very good program in Georgia, McEachern, Powder Springs, 7A school, and then his senior year went to Cartersville. Of course, that's where Trevor Lawrence was an all-time superstar in high school recruiting.
And watching him before the game, he throws a nice ball, pretty accurate there. It was just well defended by Notre Dame.
3rd down and 8 from his own end zone, incomplete. It was off the shoulder of Devon Cooper, who tried to turn and wrap back to the right, but couldn't secure it. So the 4th 3 and out for Syracuse.
Yeah, and the ball is just a little bit late for Cooper. It's thrown just a little bit late, but I mean, you got a backup quarterback, man. I mean, you got to make that play for him. As Cooper, you can see it's just touch on the back shoulder, man, but that's hard on the receiver when he's moving with great speed across the middle. If it's just slightly thrown off target, it's often difficult for them to reel in, but the backup, man, you got to make that play for your guy.
Now a tough spot for Max von Marburg, 3/4 of the way in his end zone. And it is not a good-looking punt at all, as it goes out of bounds somewhere around the 34-yard line. And we'll be back shortly. Now a look from Ram Trucks.
Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Dean Thomas had the touchdown reception just 17 seconds before halftime. 21-7 is our score. Notre Dame has 251 total yards of offense, 146 on the ground.
And in a normal situation, you have all the momentum and you're on the plus 35, I'd take a shot. But with how Notre Dame's running it, man, I don't know how you can justify it.
Estime. As he goes ahead. Great field position for Notre Dame to start after the poor punt. He's to the 31-yard line.
I think this is just demoralizing, too. I mean, you're a defense, and much of what Syracuse does defensively, we talked about it earlier in the game, they're not big enough. They're just not big to just hang in there and just weather the storm. They have to move, and they have to shift. Well, with the Notre Dame run game plan, a lot of it is just double teams, and they're just pushing those smaller guys, not allowing them to move. It's been difficult for the Cuse to defend.
Estime again, this time off left tackle. It's another first down. The big running back from St. Joe's Regional in New Jersey, the Big North Super Conference, showing how super he can be when he goes downhill.
Yeah, and pretty nice, too. I mean, he's the big back that wants to go A-gap to A-gap, right behind the guard, right behind the center. And showing right there, he can get to the edge, too. A really nice cutback there from Estime. Felt like he was poised to take off earlier this year, has had some issues with ball security. You can see what a load he is when he gets a full head of steam.
This time just a yard and a half as Goose Chestnut made the tackle.
That's about all you can do. As you see, Deuce Chestnut, number 0, the corner. He has to go low. I mean, that's about the only way to stop Estime.
Kentucky, Tennessee tonight on ESPN, 7 o'clock, college football primetime. It's going to be a good one in the SEC. And then right here on ABC, Michigan State at Michigan. Second and 8. Diggs. He's met in the hole at the 13-yard line by Michael Jones.
They continue to run that stretch right there. Haven't run it a lot today. But if they get into that, then that opens up some of your bootleg stuff. So Tommy Reese, if they're going to try to run it a little bit more off tackle, that'll set up getting Drew Pine going back away, and you can cut the field in half. Right here, obviously, big third down. You got to be thinking he's looking in the direction of number 87, Michael Mayer.
Star tight end. Will it be here as he glances over?
Got man coverage, too. I mean, if I'm them, I'm running a little fade right here. I'm throwing at that front pylon on the back shoulder.
Pine.
There it is.
As Mayer looked back and the ball was already over his head into the end zone. Cinco Clark had coverage.
And Pine's got to be a little bit, in a perfect world, you'd love to be just a little bit more patient, but he's got pressure coming off the left-hand side, which forces him to have to throw it early. I mean, that's almost impossible as McDonald delivers a big blow. You got to kind of allow that guy against press coverage to work, and you didn't have that luxury with the pressure coming off the edge.
It'll be a 31-yard attempt from Blake Grupe. Came to Notre Dame this year as a grad transfer after being a record-setting place kicker at Arkansas State. And he adds to the Irish lead, 24-7 on this day here at the JMA Dome where they have an orange out. You up for an orange-clad Taco Bell Live Más student section? Of course, student sections across the country, Greg, are competing to be the Live Más student section here all season long. You know, these two teams have played a couple times at MetLife. They played at Yankee Stadium, but it's been since 2003 that Notre Dame's been here. It's fun for the students.
Absolutely. I mean, all my buddies, a lot of them from Rome and upstate New York, a bunch of Bonnie guys, but they all, the Irish are their team, so the Irish very big here in Central New York.
Bonnie's guys?
Oh yeah, big Bonnie guys. Yeah, love Olean.
You got to explain that to me.
I'm a Bonnie too.
Aflac trivia question. Of course, Sean Tucker, excellent running back for Syracuse. Became Syracuse's single season rushing leader. And we asked, whose record did he break?
I feel like there's like one of three possible answers here.
Well, some of the all-time greatest running backs have played here, right?
Correct.
You get Heisman winners, you got all-time legends like that guy right there.
Pretty good player, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
That'd be my guess, Jim Brown. I really don't know.
You got Floyd Little from New Haven, Connecticut. Del Rio Wilson completes this to Tucker. And Tucker goes ahead for 8.5 yards. And then you have somebody else. You got a guess here?
I mean, Floyd Little, Ernie Davis would be the only other two, right?
So Tucker breaks the single season rush record last year. Whose record did he break? Guy who went on to win the Super Bowl.
What?
The Giants, Joe Morris.
Wow. I'm not even close there.
Del Rio Wilson with time and gets it complete to Gadsden. Their best weapon on offense, finally with a chunk play. Just what they needed as Carlos Del Rio Wilson with a spark for the Orange.
And a nice throw, too, by Del Rio Wilson. I mean, nice little switch release. Throw it right in behind the Notre Dame defender. Very nicely done. Finally, you hear Gadsden for the first time in quite a while.
30 yards to Rondé Gadsden. Del Rio Wilson, this time he's going to be brought down as that pocket collapsed on him right away. It was Jordan Botello bringing down Carlos Del Rio Wilson.
And good pursuit right there. You see the pressure off the left-hand side by Bertrand, but kind of forces Del Rio Wilson to his right. Botello's there to drop him. They've done a really good job of being disciplined in their rush lanes today, Notre Dame has, and haven't really allowed a lot of quarterback scrambles as a result.
Garrett Schrader injured on the sideline, and that ball's incomplete. And it was off the hands of Gadsden. Could have hauled it in, but bobbled for a moment. Says that's my fault. Third and long.
Yeah, that's two drops now by Syracuse wide receivers. I just wonder if Gadsden felt the footsteps, knowing that there were a couple gold helmets waiting to put one on as he came inside on the slant.
3rd and 13. Redshirt freshman from Georgia, transfer from Florida, out to Syracuse this summer, and now Forced into the action with the injury to Schrader. 3rd and 13, he's going to run it. And he's got legs. And he's got himself a first down, although a flag is down back at the 40-yard line. So we will check on that.
Holding. Offense. Number 63. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
That's Chris Bleich, the starting right guard, who's also a transfer from Florida.
And you'll see Bleich working on the right-hand side. Watch him right here. He engages with Bertrand, and as he's starting to fade away, it looks like maybe he tugs the jersey with the left-hand side. As you can see, it almost looks like you got a face mask right there. As you can see it, face mask might have been the more appropriate call, but nonetheless, big penalty there for Syracuse.
First penalty of the game for Syracuse, Greg. 3rd and 23. Del Rio Wilson's going to check down to Tucker. And Tucker, as the crowd's saying, where's the flag at the end of that? And as they work it down to the 36-yard line. There's Clarence Lewis there defensively.
And let's take a look. Yeah, I don't feel like that was late. He was in bounds, and
well, the flag that's necessary on that kind of play is 7 days too late.
Correct. Yes,
Clemson
correct. But that similar approach can be applied there with continuation, if you will. That's if the hit is initiated in bounds and carries it out of bounds, you hang on to the flag.
Now,
right
they're
there
at the 36-yard line. It's 4th down. You're trailing this game by 17.
I don't.
The crowd is booing as the place kicker comes on the field.
Yeah, I mean, is a field goal gonna? I mean, it doesn't really change a whole lot.
Well, they're going to discuss it. They're going to call a timeout here. 5 minutes to play in the 3rd. We'll take a quick break as Dino and the coaches talk things over. Andre Schmidt's going to stay on the field to attempt what'll be about a 54-yard field goal for Syracuse off the timeout to try to cut this to a 2-touchdown lead.
Yeah, I don't agree with this at all. I don't understand. I mean, you're down 17, but it feels like more. So I can understand, hey, make it a 2-touchdown game, but your defense has had a difficult time stopping the Irish already. I think you need some touchdowns to get back into it.
54-yard attempt for Schmidt is good. Syracuse's all-time scoring leader. All-time leader in field goals made. Very nice job by the whole ops. By Belinsky, the snapper, and Barron, the holder, and then the good, steady strike from Schmidt.
Yeah, really nice kick there. I mean, that thing, wasn't sure it was going to have enough distance. It just does, and it's right down the middle. I guess that is a bit of a feel-good, though, for Syracuse, right? I mean, you really hadn't been able to do much offensively. You finally get into a position where you can get some points. Maybe Dino felt like he had to take him at that point as a result to kind of get some life into his offense.
Greg, you know what time of the year it is? Tuesday on ESPN. It is the College Football Playoff Top 25 show presented by Allstate.
Are you ready for it? That's the question.
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Who's your number one team?
Oh, don't get me going in that conversation right now. Can we please watch Tennessee play football?
Who do you have ranked?
Can we watch Georgia and Florida play today?
If you love ball, you would have a top 25 ready to roll at all times.
You know my take on talking rankings in the middle of a Saturday. You'll see 5 upsets if I say one word. 24-10, Notre Dame has leaned on that run game. Syracuse able to get the field goal moments ago.
Denberg's kick through the end zone for a touchback.
Tess, I asked Tommy Rees about his heated exchanges with his quarterback like this one we just saw moments ago. He says for outsiders it might seem jarring, but for us it's just another day at the office. Pine actually told Rees, if you stop coaching me that way, I'm going to think something's wrong. I'm going to get mad at you. I want to be coached hard. So apparently Pine welcomes telephone calls like that.
Doesn't everybody in a talent-based business want to be held accountable, want people around them to make them better?
I think so. I mean, I think it's awesome.
Diggs take it ahead to the 28-yard line.
I think that's accountability is huge, and some guys respond well. Like, hey, I'm going to show you then, right? I mean, I always enjoyed kind of getting yelled at. It kind of woke me up, right? And
I'm sorry, who's your college coach?
Occasionally.
The greatest of all time.
Occasionally, yes. Did run into the wrong side of some rippings, but it's good. It really is. A lot of times it wakes a player up, and they play much better as a response.
Short pitch, Diggs on 2nd and 7. And this is the only place where, as you noted earlier, as Marlowe Wax makes the tackle, they haven't had success running the ball, and that's to the outside.
And that's really because you're playing into the athleticism of Syracuse. Syracuse is undersized and fast. So why would you want to run sideline to sideline against them? Marlowe Wax tracks it down and makes a big play. And now Syracuse with some real momentum for the first time in quite a while.
3rd and 7. Dropping 8. Pine with plenty of time on 3rd and 7. Coverage downfield, and then he swarmed. How did he even hold on to the ball with gear crashing down on him? And Pine is slow to get up. Driven into the ground by Jatius Gear. First sack of the game for Syracuse.
And just relentless pressure there as you see Gear tracking. Pine had an opportunity. It just had to happen a little bit faster. And as you're a right-handed quarterback rolling to your left, it's so difficult to get around and get set and ready to throw. He just can't do it with enough time. And Syracuse makes a huge play. Great job of Pine, though, hanging on to the football there.
Now you can sense just a little bit of energy here at the Dome. They tried to come after John Sott's punt, and the fair catch secured near the 33-yard line by Pena. So Syracuse ball, 2:46 to play here in the 3rd after they had the field goal drive. Now the defense responds with 2 good plays, including the sack by Gear.
All the momentum now going for Syracuse. That defensive stand was excellent. Probably the best they've looked defensively in quite a while. Let's see if their offense can continue to feed off of it and take advantage of what's pretty decent field position.
Remember, new quarterback for Syracuse is Garrett Schrader, the starter, is out injured. Del Rio Wilson in as he gives to Tucker. And Tucker can't find much on that left side of the line. Schrader got injured, saw him go down with a lower leg injury in the first half. Carlos Del Rio Wilson playing in the second half. He's the transfer from Florida, very athletic, good arm. Hadn't had much playing time, just got to Syracuse this past summer.
He's been on the mark. I mean, so far, he's been very accurate throwing the football. He's just 3 of 6, but he's had 2 notable drops that were right in the receiver's hands. So he's been throwing a nice ball so far.
2nd and 8. Del Rio Wilson gonna wind it up, take a shot downfield. And just off the fingertips of Hatcher. Umari Hatcher, if he strided through it, perhaps, and a missed opportunity.
Oh, man. I mean, so close. It looked like it was going to be a perfect throw. It was. I mean, that's one. Just talked about the fact that he's had 2, make it 3. I mean, it's a difficult catch, no doubt. But that's one that Hatcher absolutely has to reel in. I mean, that's a potential game changer. He wins over the top and gets behind the defense, and he just can't track it down.
Pena motions out on 3rd and 8. Del Rio Wilson has been somewhat fearless just stepping into this spot. And here's Tucker as he lowers that shoulder at the end of the run on 3rd and 8. And that spot is going to move the chains. First down for the Orange.
It's a great job of taking advantage of numbers there by Syracuse on the 3rd and long.
They got pressure, is picked up. Del Rio Wilson on the run, gets it complete as he goes to Alford. Big target downfield at 6'6", and all of a sudden, with a backup quarterback, with a crowd that's starting to roar just enough, there is some momentum here at the Dome. 23-yard completion.
And this Syracuse offense has certainly come to life. The Notre Dame defense that looked impenetrable there for quite a while, not looking as much right now. Let's go back to that third down run. I mean, this is the thing of beauty. Look at this. I mean, you have 2 defenders on that side of the ball for 3 blockers. I mean, this is a steal right here. You have great numbers. I mean, you even whiff there on the left-hand side by Ellis, the left guard, completely whiffs, and yet it still doesn't matter on 3rd and long. And then you follow it up with this, just really nicely done on the scramble drill by Del Rio Wilson. I mean, he looks very calm, very composed. And this is definitely the best Syracuse's offense has looked all night.
That's Justin Adamilola, an outside edge defender who was down for a moment for Notre Dame and then walked off to the sideline. So after the 23-yard completion, first down Syracuse at the Notre Dame 34. Del Rio Wilson with time, good arm, and inside the 10. He just fired that to DeMarcus Adams. You're getting a good look at Carlos Del Rio Wilson.
Just another great throw by Del Rio Wilson. Look at that little bang eight glance up and over the top of the defender, and a great catch as well. Passing game, man, it's almost unrecognizable compared to what it was earlier in the game. Del Rio Wilson, remember, 5-9, but 3 drops.
He is spinning it. 1st and goal. Tucker, can he get there? Yes! And that train horn sounds a little louder now, doesn't it? They have found something with Carlos Del Rio Wilson here in the 3rd quarter. Sean Tucker takes it in from 4 yards out. Back-to-back passes, 23 yards and 30 yards. And that sparks that 67-yard scoring drive that only took 2 minutes and 21 seconds, Greg.
Just an outstanding drive yet again by the Orange.
And Schmidt caps it with the extra point. All of a sudden, it's just a 7-point lead.
Right here, a little handoff on the sweep, and Tucker gets to the edge. Couple defenders kind of lurking inside, anticipating inside run as Schrader looks on. His offense finally starting to move the football. I mean, what was just a moment ago a 17-point lead that felt like 50.
It really did.
It really did. I mean, as you can see right now, Del Rio Wilson has been very effective throwing the football, and his receivers would help him out a little bit. Those numbers would be even more eye-popping.
Remember, he played at a very high level of Georgia high school football. Finished up his career at Cartersville with Trevor Lawrence. They went to the state championship in the season that he played there. He was a 4-star when he went to Florida and then transferred here to Syracuse. Let's go to the studio and check in with Kevin.
Joe, updating you, our early window right now, TCU about to strike again on offense, only up by 4 over on ESPN. Houston doubling up USF. Arkansas in control on the Plains against Auburn, and it's tied up at 3 apiece over on ESPN on the app between Miami and Virginia. We'll keep you up to date. Right now, Ohio State 16-14 over Penn State. Back to you.
Thank you very much. And now listen to this crowd for a defensive series against this Notre Dame offense. Sellout here at the JMA Dome. Pine trying to escape, and he tucks it and takes it for just a few yards.
This is a big opportunity here for Notre Dame. I mean, the way you now are going to take to the 4th quarter, and you ran the ball beautifully all game long. Well, in the 3rd quarter, especially at the end, Syracuse started to find some answers. What will Tommy Rees do in the 4th quarter? to put a drive together and to squash any momentum that Syracuse is trying to build.
Syracuse defense did their job moments ago. Came up with the sack of Drew Pine. Then their offense took to the field and said, we're going to march right down with the backup quarterback and have our star runner take it right in. College football on ABC, presented by Arby's, returns after this message and a word from our ABC station. Start of the fourth quarter here as Estime takes it for Notre Dame. Up by 7. They were up by 17 in the third quarter. Greg, they were up by 17. Syracuse is 1-89 all time when trailing by 17 or more. Since 04. They've lost 44 straight games when they've trailed by 17. They've cut this to a touchdown. And now their defense on the field trying to get a stop on 3rd and 5. Drew Pine and the Irish against a 3-man rush. Pine extending the play, finally being chased on 3rd and 5, and that's incomplete. It was Darden who started tracking him down. Thomas was the intended target, and now that's the second straight 3-and-out for Drew Pine and the Irish offense.
Just nothing going there. 3-man drop. A 3-man rush, 8 guys back in pass coverage. Just really well defended by Syracuse, and Pine tried to give his receiver a chance, just a little bit too low.
Sott punts away. Syracuse set to get the ball here in the fourth quarter. Pena on the return, and he is taken down by Lindsey. This season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund, and we thank All-State for that.
Really what's gotten Syracuse back in the game has been the passing attack. You would never expect that, too. Making a redshirt freshman, Carlos Del Rio Wilson, in for the injured Garrett Schrader. And all of a sudden, the offense has found some life, but these receivers have stepped up. And the offensive line's done a pretty good job in protection as well.
Del Rio Wilson, as he's going to tuck in and dive ahead, and you're just seeing that spirit and how he's been galvanizing his teammates, energizing this crowd as well as Garrett Schrader looks on.
Yeah, it's almost like every single player on offense said, hey, man, we got to ramp up our level of play with a backup quarterback in the game. The urgency's been better. The timing on some of the throws have been just the tiniest bit off, but man, they've been accurate. It's really been impressive to see the response.
2nd and 3. He's going to keep it himself, and it's a good pull and a first down. Great, they had 73 yards in the first half, just 7 points. They had 118 in the third quarter alone and 10 points and cut this lead down with Del Rio Wilson.
I think you look at Al Golden, too. They got to find an answer because now we've kind of been putting a little bit more attention to the passing game because that's what killed him on the last couple drives. Well, the running game starting to come alive a little bit now with Del Rio Wilson doing some of the work.
First down to pass again, batted in the air, and an interception. A diving effort from Leofau. Maris Leofau with the pickoff.
It looked like up front, big Howard Cross, the defensive tackle, got a hand on it wisely too. Only 6 foot, so not a guy that you would expect to knock down a lot of passes. But you could see immediately as soon as that ball went up in the air, look at the reaction of Del Rio Wilson. He just took off running because you know it. As soon as that ball flies north, it's often feels like it always ends up in the hands of a defender. Just an unlucky break there for the quarterback who was on fire prior to.
Game started with an interception, a pick 6 by Notre Dame. And now that. Tyree tries to muscle his way right to midfield.
Really,
Tyree, who had a memorable moment against Syracuse a couple of years ago, had a 94-yard touchdown run.
And the challenge now has to be to the offensive line for Notre Dame. You ran the ball so beautifully in the first half of this football game, really ran it nicely through some of the third quarter as well. But the last couple drives, they just haven't been getting the same kind of push against that Syracuse defensive front. Syracuse is more capable of winning those battles right now, so challenge is on the offensive line to reestablish the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 6. Tyree makes one cut and dives ahead. Will be close to that line to gain. The 3rd and probably less than 1 there as Chestnut made the tackle. Third and 1, Tyree easily moves the sticks.
I kind of like that right there. If I'm Notre Dame, I don't want to necessarily get into tempo at all, but the urgency needs to pick up a little bit. I understand, hey, you have a lead, your defense is a little bit on their heels, so maybe you want to take the air out of the football a little bit, but the urgency, especially as they get to the line of scrimmage, really hasn't been there the last few drives. So I like right there they went with a quick snap, see if they can't catch Syracuse off guard.
There's Tyree, offset blocker in front is Sherwood. And he'll take that block and utilize it to go ahead for 2.5 yards. Okechukwu with the tackle of Tyree.
A little surprised that we're not getting a heavy dose of Audric Estime. He's your hammer at 230 pounds. And he's the big body back that you want in the game in situations like this. Instead, they're opting to go with the big hitter, Chris Tyree. Maybe if he could squeak through, he'll take it the distance. But the big back's always been my lean, especially in the fourth quarter.
Second and 8, Tyree again. Not much here. It'll be a 3rd down chance for the Orange as Derek McDonald made the tackle of Tyree.
I think this would be a good opportunity here for Notre Dame to utilize a bootleg. They've run the ball pretty well on this drive, and Syracuse is going to sell out against the run, even on 3rd and long, because you're pretty close to field goal range. You can definitely still run the football in this spot if you're Notre Dame. So I'd go with maybe a little fake underneath to get my quarterback moving.
Third and 6. Drop back Pine to the outside, and that is caught for an Irish first down by Colsey. 11-yard reception on 3rd and 6.
And kind of bobbled initially there by Colsey as he's backtracking for it, but good concentration to secure it. And an excellent conversion there for the Irish. Expect to get back to the ground and pound now with the big back Estime in.
Instead, it's Pine on first down and downfield. And a flag will rein in as the intended target was Jaden Thomas. Jahad Carter got caught up in it.
Pass interference, defense, number 1, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's a good penalty by Jahad Carter. I know that you never want to give up a first down, but double move right there underneath. Little stop and go by the receiver, and he grabs him. It would have been a touchdown if he doesn't, though. So a good penalty there by Carter.
Just the second penalty on Syracuse today. Estime, 17th carry of the day, and it's a touchdown. 11-yard touchdown run from Audric Estime.
How do you like 14 personnel? 1 running back and 4 tight ends. Well, I love it a lot, especially if my tight ends block like this. Look at the right-hand side, Evans. Look at how long he has to hang on that block. Driving the defender off the ball. Estime cuts right off in behind him and finds pay dirt. What a huge drive for the Irish after it felt like everything was starting to go against them.
Isn't it amazing how one turnover can turn everything around? Howard Cross, the defensive tackle, got a piece of the ball. Maris Leofau secured the ball. And all of a sudden, momentum shifted with a Notre Dame kind of drive. Power running and a 2-touchdown lead again. $14-point lead for Notre Dame. They scored after the interception with a quick drive. Let's check in with Kevin.
Let's go to Happy Valley here, Booger. And how about Penn State's offense converting on some key 4th downs?
Love the formation quads, single receiver side, throw the backside slant.
Tyler Warren basically converting there. And then on 4th and goal, Katron Allen.
You got to love it. The more physical team is winning today, Kev. The Buckeyes can't run the ball.
Yeah, it's a shock right now. Penn State up 21-16, reminding you our 3:30 game featuring Brett Bielema, his recent run.
Nothing says Big Ten like Brett Bielema.
Yeah, perfect.
Sean Tucker takes it ahead for just a yard. College football rankings are brought to you by Goodyear.
So fascinating what's going on right now in Happy Valley. We did Penn State last week, and I remember studying, man, they are good on defense. I didn't think they were this good. I mean, Ohio State, however, man, I mean, we haven't played anybody. I mean, I know Notre Dame fans say, wait, what about us? I mean, yeah, they didn't look great, to be honest with you. So Ohio State clearly, maybe not quite the team that a lot of people thought they were.
They got pressures picked up for Del Rio Wilson, who should have had it complete to Aronde Gadsden. It'll be 3rd and 8.
Just a little bit off the mark there. I'm not sure if Del Rio Wilson, remember a backup quarterback, how he doesn't get a ton of reps throwing it to Aronde Gadsden. So maybe just a little bit off the mark, thinking that Aronde was going to settle it down right there. Aronde was running through it with full speed.
Brought down right away. That was Foskey. He's a heck of a player, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Good NFL prospect on the edge for Notre Dame.
And that's so tough. I mean, one-on-one, working against Bergeron on the left-hand side. And I mean, it's just right there. I mean, he just goes a little speed to power, but he keeps his eyes inside, man. That's what I like so much about watching Foskey is not only is he very electric, but he's also always aware of where the quarterback's in on the line of scrimmage.
Kalen Ellis is down for Syracuse, starting left guard.
With all the pressure of the playoff chase, anything can happen.
If it's us versus them, who you think gon' win? If it's us versus them, who you think gon' win?
What are you most interested in seeing with these first rankings?
Well, Reese, I'm interested in seeing a lot with these first rankings, and I will see it 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. College Football Playoff Top 25 show presented by Allstate comes your way then. Syracuse punting away Max von Marburg. 5th, Syracuse 3 and out. Their 6th punt today. Oh, it is blocked! It is blocked again! Notre Dame with another blocked punt. Time and again this is happening as Notre Dame has now blocked 5 punts this year. Brian Mason, the outstanding special teams coordinator, is finding a way, and Clarence Lewis got it.
And you see just rolling right off the left side. I mean, unblocked, untouched. I don't know how you can let that guy just come free. I mean, I'm not an expert when it comes to punt protection. Might be the thing I know least about in football, but I mean, I don't know how you have a fast guy with a full head of steam on your punter.
And by the way, that was James Williams, the punter there, as Notre Dame takes it in for the touchdown. As quickly Estime just puts it right in. So James Williams came in to punt for Von Marburg. And Brian Mason's group that has really dialed in on punt block. And they come from different angles. That's one of their keys. Every week, it doesn't matter if it's the A-gap. It doesn't matter if it's coming off the stunt, off the edge like we just saw. But that is now 5 times this year that they have blocked a punt. As Estime goes in for the 2-yard touchdown. And Groupie will tack on the extra point. And you blink, and it's 21 points. Coach Mace, he says that's how we do it.
College football on ABC is presented by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
The classic corn maze this time of the year, Greg. And I think some Syracuse fans feel like the last few minutes has been a maze of trying to get through this Notre Dame team and find your way, and all of a sudden you look up and it's 21 points.
You know, guys, our crew has seen its fair share of special team struggles this year, and I thought it was interesting. Marcus Freeman said, how important is special teams to you? Do you have starters who want to be on special teams? Obviously, Clarence Lewis right there gets the block, but Isaiah Foskey had 2 a week ago, and Foskey told me, I absolutely love performing on special teams, doing my part there, and coming up with momentum plays like we just saw.
And that's a culture indicator, you know? I mean, if you have guys that really want to be on special teams and take great pride in the 10 snaps a game that they get on special teams, that's significant, man. Those are the guys you want on your team.
Real Wilson escapes for the moment and then has to throw it away. You know, I had a veteran coach once say to me, he said, I never understood coaches or programs that dismiss special teams and not having great players out there and strictly using it developmental or dismissing it at all. If I told any coach, an offensive or defensive coach, that 40-plus yards is going to be determined on these plays, right, how much care would you give it?
Oh, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it completely changes games. I mean, when we were on the call for Florida State LSU, I mean, special teams totally determine the outcome.
Real Wilson, good job to keep it alive, and gets it to Sean Tucker. What do you think of Del Rio Wilson, just this quick spark of the second half of what you've seen?
Well, obviously the interception, not really anything he can do about that, but he's played well. I mean, if it's a glimpse into the future for Syracuse, you got to be very excited about what you have in Del Rio Wilson.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 19 offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Aerial coverage today has been provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. And there's the beautiful academic quad here at Syracuse, magnificent campus in central New York, and they've done so much to improve the dome as well. JMA Dome, refurbished, rebranded, and a better fan experience. Other side of the field for Del Rio Wilson as he gets it to Yamari Hatcher. And that'll be a first down for Syracuse out to the 47-yard line. Look at the time he has and gets it complete to his big target, Gadsden.
This is a really nice throw here from Del Rio Wilson. Scan in the middle of the field. Puts it nice and high for his 6'5" wide receiver tight end to go up and grab it.
This time chased and had to throw it away as he had Botello tracking him down. College football today on the ACC Network, 3:30. Wake Forest, number 10 in the country, taking on Louisville. 8 o'clock, it's Pittsburgh against North Carolina. This Notre Dame team went to North Carolina, put up 45 points that day. Road win back on September 24th.
Pittsburgh's been a puzzle this year, man. I mean, to be as efficient as they were throwing it last year and now basically transitioning to a run-first team, they're difficult to figure out.
Downfield strike is just beyond Courtney Jackson.
Of course, we saw the best performance of the year by Notre Dame against that North Carolina team, and they beat them up and down the field. So be a good indicator for Mac Brown's team to see just whether or not they've improved, because if there's one thing Pitt will do, Pitt will hit you. They are physical. So see how much more physical Mac Brown's team's gotten since they played the Irish a few weeks back.
To the end zone he goes, and that is intercepted by Brandon Joseph, who had the pick-6 touchdown return on the first play of the game, and now his second interception comes with 6 minutes to play. They're going to repeat third down off the penalty.
Just massive right there, of course. Del Rio Wilson. I mean, if you look and watch him, look at his eyes. His eyes are to the right the whole way. What that does is it just takes that free safety right over the top. That's something you got to learn as a young quarterback. You got to be able to manipulate defenders with your eyes. He stares it right down. It takes the defender right to it.
They call it offsides, and it's third down and 5. And wide open at the 15-yard line is Gadsden. He just posted up there, and it's a first down for the Orange.
A good response there by Del Rio Wilson. Young player, throws an interception, comes right back after he gets bailed out by the offsides and throws a strike.
And now the fade. And in the end zone, it's a touchdown to DeMarcus Adams. There's some fight and some talent with Del Rio Wilson that you're seeing here in this second half.
Really nice, too, by Adams, getting over the top but getting behind the defender. It looked like the defender there, Lewis, it's almost like he was playing for the back shoulder.
Did he step out of bounds prior to that? Oh, that was close.
It was close. Look at that one more time. He definitely secured the catch and dropped the foot in bounds after the catch, but did he step out just before, and did he reestablish himself? Of course. Might be something that they're looking at. Of course, every scoring play is
a touchdown.
reviewed.
Previous play is under further review.
Watch that foot along the white sideline. Matt Austin, rules expert, what do you say?
Well, it did look like he stepped out of bounds. I don't know if they're going to have the perfect shot or not, but if he was not forced out and he stepped out of bounds before, he can't be the first to touch the pass. So even if he got his foot back up in the air, it would be an incomplete pass after the foul for illegal touching.
And what does it require, Matt, to reestablish yourself in bounds after you're forced out?
Just get a foot back in, or any body part.
Doesn't appear, though. I mean, that the last step would be the one that was out. So this could actually result in an illegal touching if they have a view that would prove that he did step out of bounds.
That is correct.
It's really difficult to tell, though. I mean, of course, indisputable video evidence beyond all doubt to overturn.
See that left leg, the left foot close to the way. Remember, ruling on the field's a touchdown. You have the distinct colors there of the blue turf and the white sideline.
Touchdown.
So the ruling stands. It is a touchdown for Syracuse and Dino Baber's squad. Adams arguably their fastest wide receiver. A block punt, a quick score pushed it to 21. Syracuse came down the field with Del Rio Wilson passing the ball. And under 6 minutes to play, they make it 38-24. Notre Dame lead. Back here on the campus of Syracuse University, as they have been energized with a season that started 6-0, back-to-back sellouts for the first time since 1987. They declared this an orange out today. Notre Dame got up pretty big here in the fourth quarter. Syracuse still fighting to the end, as they're going to be setting up for the onside kick. Andre Schmidt will be the kicker for the onside. See if he gets the double bounce, and it is easily secured by Michael Mayer. You talk about having a guy on Hans team. Pretty good guy to have. What's up, Kevin?
Tess, let's get an update from Happy Valley and Boog. Ohio State just 37 rushing yards, and then Travion Henderson going on.
Yeah, I love the backside block by the tight end and the vision by Travion. Touchdown.
41 yards, a 35-second drive, and then they force a third turnover, and then here comes the offense again for the Buckeyes.
Neat little play, quarterback waggle, tight end goes the opposite way. Nice little wrinkle there by the Buckeyes.
C.J. Stroud to Cade Stover. Right now, Ohio State up 30-24. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Logan Diggs, very active first half as he goes ahead. Remember, College Football Playoff 25 show presented by Allstate comes your way Tuesday as you see the playoff predictor.
And here's how I had it coming into today. The reason why a lot of people are going to say, Ohio State 4, what are you doing? Well, they don't have great wins. I mean, they have 2 wins against teams that are over 500. Notre Dame is one of those. Now, going to be a strong reaction. If they can hang on, I have a lot of respect for Penn State. I think they will definitely slide up, maybe even as high as number 1 with the performance that they have on the road against a team that I also think is a top 10, top 12 team in the Nittany Lions.
Diggs on 2nd and 6. And remember, you can go to ESPN.com/Allstate Playoff Predictor to check out your team's chances to make the college football playoff. Is that you? Do you have like an abacus in the back and a slide rule? Is that
if they want me to be on the committee, I would love that. That would be amazing. But
you on the committee?
I would love that.
You'd be too strong of an opinion.
I would love that.
The meetings would be an absolute disaster.
They would.
If you were on the committee.
But we would have good fellowship after we all fought.
Yes. After the fellowship would be great and with tremendous hydration. But during the meeting, you'd be so strong and opinionated. 3rd down and 4. Estime, as he has done time and again today, just going straight through the middle of that Syracuse defense. So you think about Notre Dame, and we expressed it earlier, for some reason they play much better on the road. Obviously, with Tyler Buckner being injured, they had to turn to Drew Pine. There's some ups, there's some downs, but on the road they have been good this year. And now, next week, it's going to be Clemson at home.
And let's hope that they play their best football at home. I think, look, this is a team that's very physical. This would be a war. It might not necessarily as the backup quarterback now in for the Irish.
And all you have to do is hand off to this guy, Estime, adding to his big day. As Steve Angeli is the true freshman quarterback who's in now to close out this game.
Estime just refuses to go down. As you can see, Drew Pine, his day is done. The offensive line, I mean, Estime, especially at this time of the game, I mean, shoot, man, 55 minutes, 56 minutes. And now I got to deal with a 230-pound back in the open field. Forget about it.
Who has 123 yards.
Right, he's had a nice day, and it's good to see him getting confident again after some of the inconsistencies that he's dealt with a little bit this year as well. He's clearly a very talented guy.
Diggs cut down near the 1-yard line. And what was said earlier, listen, and Syracuse has given a spirited effort, even with a backup quarterback. But you play a game like you did last week against Clemson. Your defense is on the field for a long, long time. And even Dino Babers said to us, he said, listen, there's an effect after you play Clemson. And then you know you're going to be going into a game against Notre Dame where you're just physically outmanned with their offensive line against your defensive line.
Yeah, it's so hard to bounce back. I mean, the Clemson game is a war, kind of like we just talked about. And, hey, you get to back it up now with 71 snaps Notre Dame's had. They played 90 snaps last week defensively. I mean, at some point, fatigue and attrition is going to take its toll. And, man, I'm so proud of this Syracuse team. I am. I'm so proud of what they've accomplished this year for sure. But they're not yet at the point, from a personnel standpoint, to be able to weather the storm like a Clemson and then come back and be just as good the following week. It's just they're going to be a little bit more up and down. The good news is, if you look at their two deep, specifically on defense, literally everybody's back. Everybody's back next year with the exception of maybe Michael Jones, who's probably strongly considering leaving early for the NFL draft.
Diggs is going to try to take it in, but he's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage.
And I like the message that Dino Babers is sending right now. I mean, calling timeouts. Yeah, calling timeouts, saying we played for 60 minutes. I know you guys are gassed. I know you guys are exhausted, but a goal line stand here would be albeit a footnote on the disappointing day, but it might carry over some momentum in the next week's game. You see
There's the road ahead for Syracuse.
We talked about it too. I mean, Pitt doesn't get a whole lot easier. Pitt's inconsistent, but like Notre Dame, like Clemson, they're physical, very, very physical. So it'll be a tough one again next week on the road. This is a very difficult schedule for Dino Babers, especially in the back half.
Steve Angeli came in for Drew Pine. He's been handing off to Diggs and Estime, and now 3rd and goal. As Diggs is going to get stacked up at the line again. That was Kayvon Darton. And Darton, that fire plug of a defensive tackle who's hard to block and a former walk-on who earned a scholarship on the first day of fall camp.
I love that for Syracuse right there. It might not seem like much, but you're just getting absolutely gashed all day long, and especially in short yard situations, you're a little bit outmanned. But here, 58 minutes into the game, you hold up and you stop the bleeding. So that's something that they'll start with in film room tomorrow when they get back to work. Is, man, hey, we did it. We figured it out at the end.
Rupi will just tack on 3 more. 41-24 is what this looks like with 1:58 to play. Let's go to the studio and Kevin Nagandi.
That's our early window. Let's take a look at the games that are going on late here. TCU only up by 3 in Morgantown against West Virginia over on ESPN. Jackson State and Dion undefeated, up 20-0 against Southern over on ESPN 3. Arkansas in control on the Plains, as you see. They highlight Bo Jackson for Auburn, and Virginia doubling up Miami, but no touchdown. 6-3 right now in the 4th quarter on the app. Back to you.
Marcus Freeman said earlier, hey, we're a good football team that doesn't always play that way.
That's so appropriate, by the way. I think that sums it up beautifully. I mean, they have the pieces, they have the talent, they have the culture, they have the physicality. But for whatever reason, man, they just are kind of hot and cold. And obviously it's his first year as well. I'm sure there's things that he's done and decided this year that he'd like to have back as well. But when this team revs their engine, they can go, that's for sure.
I mentioned Clemson coming up next week. And then it's going to be at USC, top 10 team to close out the year.
Obviously that SC game is huge. Shouldn't have much trouble with Navy or Boston College. No disrespect to your Eagles, but
oh no, that is a throwaway year right there.
But Clemson next week, very, very interesting, and that's really the last big hurdle for the Clemson Tigers en route to a potential 12-0 season.
And Botello gets to Del Rio Wilson. He's been active, Jordan Botello, off the edge. Incomplete, looking for Gadsden. I feel like there have been a lot of drops today from some of these receivers. Just close missed opportunities.
Yeah, really have been. It's a difficult catch over the middle. Guys flying around. The receivers have definitely left some plays on the field for the backup quarterback, Del Rio Wilson.
3rd and 17. Botello again tracking him. I'll be caught well short of the lines of gain. Reminder that tonight on ESPN Plus, you could head to New York and we got the great Vasily Lomachenko, 3-division world champion, returning to action on Top Rank Boxing from Madison Square Garden. 4th and 6 for Syracuse, as that's incomplete. And obviously, listen, there are so many stories we cover in sports, but to think that an elite world champion making millions upon millions of dollars and was about to fight a mega fight, last year made a decision that, no, I am going home to my home country, to Ukraine, to put on the camouflage and fight for my country. He spent 3/4 of a year back home serving his country, and now has returned to the United States because where he's from, he feels is safe, he feels his family is secure, and he's re-engaging in his sport. He stepped away from millions upon millions of dollars last spring to go defend his country.
It's amazing. It really is. I can't wait to check it out tonight. Never been to a fight at MSG, so you better drive fast down that street right there.
Yeah, right there. We're going to get going down in New York. Double dip this day. Little Notre Dame Syracuse on the front end, and World Championship Boxing from MSG on the back end, with this beautiful day in central New York. And it's interesting to see what's happening between the lines here, because Kayvon Darton is still talking to the end, right? This guy is listed as a generous 5'11", but you talk about a fighter. Oh, that's a natural-born fighter right there.
Dude plays his heart out every snap. I love watching him, and he was disruptive at times today. He really was.
Syracuse cut the lead to 7, but then Notre Dame outscored them 17-7 in the 4th quarter. Great hard running by Estime with 123 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then the block punt that really boosted that lead.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what Notre Dame does from here. I think they are a dangerous team, especially when you look at what SC has potentially in front of them and what Clemson has in front of them. Do not mess with the Irish.
Notre Dame wins it 41-24. For Katie and Greg, I'm Joe Tessitore. Enjoy the rest of your day. Let's send it back to our college football scoreboard and Kevin Nagani. Kevin, take it away.
Tess, thank you so much. Coming up, Casey Thompson and Nebraska. Can they hand Illinois their 2nd loss of the season? That game from Lincoln coming your way on ABC. Also, we're 2 minutes away from the American Showdown. It's the Bounce House. Number 20 Cincinnati in Orlando taking on UCF. That game on ESPN in under 2 minutes. More after this.